Call to order the regular meeting of the City of Aransas Pass City Council, March 6, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. Let's all rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Thank you, Father, for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. We thank you, my Father, for the beautiful weather that we have enjoyed. I pray, Father, for our city council, our city manager, and the department heads, that you guide us, my Father, to do the right steps, take the right steps for our residents, my Father, to keep the city of Aransas Pass moving forward. I pray your protection and your blessing upon us. In Jesus' name.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're gonna go to presentations and proclamations, and we're gonna go to the San Patricio County Economic Development Corporation update with Mr. Adam.
Mr. Mayor, that particular presentation has to be delayed. There's been a sudden illness, and so if you're okay with it, we can go to the next one.
Okay, well then we're gonna go to Frontier, Mr. Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and ladies and gentlemen of council, and ladies and gentlemen, city staff. My name is Bill Killian, and I'm the South Texas Vice President for Frontier Waste Solutions. Why that's of interest tonight is because on March 1st, we were fortunate enough to complete an asset purchase of William Davis's company, Absolute Waste. So I'm here tonight to introduce myself and our company, and at the end to ask for your guidance in assignment and transfer of the current contract. So a little bit about Frontier Waste. Next slide, please, Mr. Edwards. Thank you. This is just pretty much a cover page saying that Absolute Waste, the longest continually running company in Corpus, coupled with us, Frontier Waste, to build a new solid waste solutions provider here in the Coastal Bend. Our company originally started as Killian Calderon Disposal in 2015. In 17, we rolled into Frontier Waste. And since then, Frontier's just been off to the races. We're in 14 Texas cities, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But I have a friendship and a friendly competitor relationship with William Davis since 2010 upon my arrival here in the Coastal Bend. And in 2017, well, next slide, please. So 2017, an industry veteran and another associate of mine, Mr. John Gustafson, put this Frontier together and came to our company first in the Coastal Bend here at Killian Calderon and said, would we like to be part of it? They had capital for trucks and equipment and expansion, and that was interesting to us. So we got going. Our first municipal bid was the Aransas Pass contract, this very contract that was up at the end of 16 and was awarded in early 17. And oddly enough, Bill and I have a lot of similarities in the business. We bid the exact same residential rate, which is odd for a contract. We bid $15.45 a home. Bill did too. His commercial price was lower, so I sat in this very room, and when the bids were open, they read Aransas Absolute's first. They said Absolute Waste bids $15.45, and I'm sitting there knowing I bid $15.45. I thought, wow, we really have a lot in common. He got me on the commercial, and he was very fortunate because this is a great contract. So that's a little bit about what was going on. Of course, then also in 17, we had a little thing called Hurricane Harvey happen, and we played a role here in your city with our roll-off boxes. I haven't got the exact count on it, but between 350 and 400 roll-off loads we did out of the ISDs and the churches that were damaged. Did a lot of work for Belfour. So we picked up a lot of waste and brought it out of your city after Harvey. Our nearest operator, every one of our managers has 20 years experience in the industry minimum. My partner Alvaro Calderon here in Corpus has about 35. We're over on Flato Road, so a little bit closer than the Absolute facility, right next to West Oso High School. That facility currently serves about 3,700 residents in the Coastal Bend area and over 1,500 commercial entities. Many of them are in the county areas around Aransas Pass and going north towards Rockport, etc. The combined snapshot looks like 65 employees, 55 licensed collection units, and long-term disposal contracts in place to ensure a viable disposal option, which is very important. Part of the acquisition, we slated $3.2 million in truck purchases to improve the fleet and get it up to standards, Frontier and Plan for Growth. So upon completion of the deal last week, we ordered 3 new garbage trucks. A new brush truck was one, a new side load truck, and a new front load truck. And they were, after the deal was done, we've already executed that. We plan on spending that in the next 18 months. Next slide, Mr. Edwards, please. So here's some of our cities. You see that swath of Texas there. Pretty much as far north as Lake Texoma, and down here to Corpus. In the east, we're in Dayton, Texas, and then to the west, San Antonio. These logos are from cities that we have over 35 city contracts. These are some that we put up. Most prominently, the largest contract south of Houston is ours. It's the city of Pearland. It's about 36,000 homes, 1,200 commercial entities. But similar sized cities to Aransas Pass that we're very proud to serve are City of Hearn, which is outside College Station, and City of Liberty's up there, and we have the City of Dayton, Texas, which I didn't put their logo on there. I don't know why, but these are all our city contracts, and you can see we have 44 references. We can provide letters if you're interested in letters of reference. But I think that they would say that we are doing a great job. I know that they would, and I think that's important, is when someone else tells you that you're doing well, as opposed to me standing up here and telling you that. So I would urge that if that's necessary. Next slide, sir. Thank you. 350 collection vehicles system-wide. Why is that important? Let's hope we never have to go through another Harvey again. None of us want that, but if that were to happen or something similar, we can provide the assistance and support just like we did for the Coastal Bend in 2017, and then with subsequent storms after that. 4 years average fleet age is a very good fleet age. Your average in the industry is about 7.5, so our average is very young. Our City of Pearland contract was a 30-truck contract, started in October of 21, so that helps that fleet age, but nonetheless, we have a lot of new trucks and a lot of relationships with truck vendors to get more trucks. We invested about $80 million in equipment and fleet. Professional fleet maintenance guy by the name of Brian Frechette. We take that's a big source of pride for us, our fleet, and how well it looks and how well we take care of it. Market leading technicians, all sorts of different softwares and tracking systems and things to keep that equipment up running, to answer the bell for the clients of our portfolio. The next slide, Mr. Edwards, please. You know, public company level onboarding for our employees. Safety is a top priority. That's what this business is all about. It's a hurry up, but be careful and be safe business. And so we place a big onus on safety and what that means to us, you know. And so we have what we feel the biggest of the biggest onboarding, yet the ownership, the founder of the companies, of our several companies, Tim Henderson, myself, John Gustafson, we're involved. This past Saturday we had the orientation for the Absolute Waste employees, and we were there and we talked to them about what it meant to us. And it's just not lip service, it's really something that's important. So we do the typical bi-weekly safety meetings, toolbox talks in the mornings, monthly management reviews of incidents and behaviors and unsafe situations that we identify and eradicate. And we use market-leading safety technology such as Lytix cameras, which is an onboard camera, so we see the driver, we see what the driver sees, we see the driver, we see if they're adhering to company standards and safety and such. So we feel we have all these things, and I think that's, you know, I think that I'm biased. I think it's that when it says public company type onboarding, you know, that's great to have that, but then to have the people who started the company involved, and just like you had William Davis for these years, I think that's a very important thing. Final slide, I think. So, you know, with these things in mind, you know, we will respectfully tonight request a formal written transfer of the contract from Absolute Waste to Frontier. That's consistent with the language in the contract. I've seen this occur 70 times in my career. I've been doing this almost 30 years. And it's, we're here, we're agreeing to operate under the contractual terms that Mr. Davis has been, and we hope that we can even do better. I'm sure that he's done a wonderful job, but we want to do even better because that's just what we want to do. We want to exceed expectations. So anyways, there's page 10, part 13 of the contract. I have provided the proper insurance certificates and bonding information. I gave it to Mr. Edwards, and I brought copies tonight, but I emailed him those. So those are already in your possession, and I really do thank you for your time, and it's nice to be here 6 years later after we bid that contract against Will and be here in front of you. And we're a proud Coastal Bend company, founded here. I've lived here since 2010, and you know, made it a home, and we're very proud to be doing this tonight and be here in front of you. So with that, I will finish. I'm certainly available for any questions or such that you all might have. Thank you very much.
I think I'm good. Okay, we're gonna go to the update on American Rescue Plan, ARP Water and Sewer Project. Angela Leach, American Rescue Plan, ARP Project Manager, and Chris Bonus, Chris and Associates.
Benches.
Chris Benches.
Chris
And I think Chris is going to hold on to his seat for a minute. Mr. Mayor, Council. We appreciate the opportunity on behalf of GrantWorks to work with the city manager and your finance director and the city of Aransas Pass to manage your American Rescue Plan Act funds. And it has been a pleasure working with city staff and also with Chris Benches as we've gone through the projects. Mr. Edwards asked us to come up tonight and give you a brief update on where we're at. We've been working on these projects for a little over a year, and you have a handout that just summarizes. Aransas Pass received $2,078,428 in American Rescue Plan Act funds, and with those funds, the city selected 4 water and wastewater projects. 3 of those projects are projects that have been designed and taken out for bid through K-Freeze. And the 4th project is being completed internally by your Public Works Department. The first project was, the base bid for that project was 1,000 linear feet of 8-inch gravity wastewater and main installation. That project has been completed. The additive alternate, 2,500 linear feet of 6-inch water main installation. That additive alternate is being completed by your city crew as well. There was a significant savings for the city in having your crews purchase the equipment and complete that project, and props to your department leads for identifying that savings. In doing that, there's about 1,000 linear feet of that water line that has been completed at this point. So crews continue to work there. The second project goes from West McClung Avenue from South 11th Street to South 12th Street and to South Avenue A. This was a base bid for 2,650 linear feet of 8-inch base and 12-inch gravity wastewater with all of the mains, maintenance holes, laterals, cleanouts. This project has been awarded to J.J. Fox Construction. That was effective January 30th, 2023, and we have 240 days estimated for completion of construction. There's an additive alternate for an overlay of 2 inches on that project in the area where the pavement is being removed for the project. That additive alternate is planned to be completed by city crews as well. The third project, we have North Whitney and Lamont Alley from Maddox to Myrtle. This project base bid was for 1,200 linear feet of 12-inch gravity wastewater main, and that project is currently out for bid. We have a bid opening scheduled on March 22nd. There's an additive alternate for 2,000 linear feet of 6-inch water main installation that's part of that bid package. The fourth project, this has been completed entirely by your internal crews, and this was 1,200 linear feet of 6-inch water main from 11th and 12th Alley from DeBury to McClung. The city provided all of the labor for that project, and the materials have been purchased through American Rescue Plan Act funds. Just a few facts. Currently, out of the $2,078,000, there are $1,518,246.80 that is obligated. So there's a contract in place for those funds at this point. The remaining to obligate is $560,181.74. With American Rescue Plan Act, all of the funds have to be obligated by December 31st, 2024. So that remaining $560,000, we will need to have that under contracts before the end of 2024. And our final date for all expenditures to be made and paid is December 31st, 2026. We have pending obligations that will more than take up the remaining funds for American Rescue Plan Act. And those are for materials for the Package 1 additive alternate, the Package 2 additive alternate, and of course the Package 3 base bid and additive alternate that are out right now. And Chris and I are happy to answer any questions that you may have.
So to understand, you're saying that the additives for number 1, 2, and 3 make up the 560?
The additives and the base bid for number 3.
Make up that 560 that we have not used yet. Okay, so it is all obligated.
It's all available, that's all planned. It
Okay.
technically will be obligated once the contracts are executed.
Okay, all right. I was hoping that there would be 560,000 that we could still use for other projects, but no, it's all in there. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go to the consent agenda. All of the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of this item unless a council member so requests. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
I make a motion to approve the consent agendas for the special meeting on January 30th, regular meeting February 6th, special meeting February 10th, and special meeting February 16th.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're gonna go to public hearings, and I'm gonna open up the public hearing on case number 2303-02, which is the public hearing on abandoning a 0.174 acre dedicated public right-of-way at the request of Stephen Perez, measuring 20 feet in width and 380 feet in length, located between lots 19, 20, 21, and lots 24, 25, and 26 of Compound Addition 3 in Aransas County, Texas, as depicted in plat of said closure, Exhibit A, attached hereunto, and providing the revision of said abandoned area to the abutting properties.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Okay.
Hello, is this Ms. Hassel? Hi, yes, this is Ms. Hassel. Okay, this is Mary I'm calling you from the city council meeting, and we reached the, item regarding the right of way. We just wanted to get you on the line. Okay, sounds good.
Yes, so this is an alley. It is an unimproved alley, and property owner and the applicant on behalf of the property request that this alley be closed. In actual fact, it is almost half of the entire alley. The request that they are trying to close has to do with the property to the left and to the right only. And so those portions are affecting their property. And there isn't any other portion of the alley that is being requested to close that is owned by any other person. In other words, they are closing the alley that abuts their property. The applicant is here and to represent the owner. And so if you have any questions, he will be ready to answer questions that you may have. Thank you.
Any comments? Any comments from the public?
My name is Eric Kindevater, and I'm 102 Hazlet. My properties are just a little ways down from there. Now, we have a gas line, from what I'm told, that runs from Commercial Street all the way to Mobile Village. Why does that alley have to be closed?
Yes.
I've never done this before, so thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. The reason for the closure is if you show the map a little bit lower on the screen, no, the other way, I'm sorry, higher. Properties 24, 25, and 26, we're applying for building permits to put 3 single-family residences. And in order to get sewer and utilities, the options are to come down the abandoned, with the alleyway right now, which would be cost prohibitive, and I have some proposals there from a local engineer. And the other option, which we found, could be to abandon the alley, and I can create individual easements from 24 to 19, 25 to 20, 26 to 21. And this would allow a shorter distance and a little less requirements per the city. And that's the only reason. This morning, because I heard that there might be some concern about the gas line, so this morning I met with Supervisor Rich Silvas, and they informed me that the only gas line is the corner one, which I think Mr. Eric has over here, and nobody else has gas. The 2 lines going to the mobile home village are abandoned. In the village, there's other gas lines coming from another direction, is what he told me this morning. So he told me, he goes, you can actually abandon that if you don't want gas, you can just shut it off because those are your properties. But in our case, we wouldn't want to shut it off. We would just want to keep whatever existing easements are there that the city has with CenterPoint Energy and leave them there. I mean, the gas lines, we would want gas in those properties at some point. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Well, the one thing that I'm scared of, because I've heard several stories, and I'm afraid this is going to be a prelude for an RV park back there. And that's what's got most of the neighbors worried about. Besides it being a public right-of-way being closed down.
I can answer that. Yeah, there's 0 plans for that. We're not zoned for that. I've spoken to OSE for the last 2 years trying to get this. So we're only zoned for single family. We're not zoned for salvage yards, for anything else, and we can't. I mean, from my understanding, we haven't put anything there. I know on your property you store it, you use it for storage.
Just my personal vehicles.
Okay, but I was told we couldn't store personal vehicles, we couldn't store trailers, we couldn't store anything there, so we've been complying, because we want to keep the property up. We've just been waiting for our permits to build residences. But there's 0 plans to put an RV park there.
Okay, well, when I went down and tried to get some information on this from your planning and zoning guy, he basically told me that he could do anything he wanted over there because he was next to Mobile Village. If he wanted to put an RV park in, he could put an RV park in. And that's what I was told, and that's why I'm up here being concerned about it.
Yeah, but no.
I understand.
Whatever plans he has, he still has to go back.
Well,
to
that's what I thought.
Come all the way back this way, and it's still the same.
That's what I thought, but I'm going like, whoa, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. So, that's why I'm up here voicing my concern.
If he's gonna want an RV park, he's gonna have to start all over again and come back. Because like right now, you own both sides of the alley, right?
Yes, 19, 24, 20, 25, 21, 26. So the only person it affects is me, so, and actually it's all in my daughter's name, that's why she's on the phone. It just affects us. It doesn't affect anybody else. And we can verify with CenterPoint at a future date if you want. I'm in no rush. I'm just trying to start the process of building homes there.
And you're gonna build homes on both sides of them?
Actually, I'm personally building homes on 24, 25, 26, and the other side, I have 2 buyers that are gonna build homes on the other side, with 1 more lot, probably building a home eventually at some point. But yeah, there's 6 individual lots, 6 individual homes.
What size homes you thinking about building on them 3 lots?
Per zoning, it's, I think, minimum 1,200 square feet, but I think we're thinking 1,500 square foot with a detached garage.
Any other questions?
And I do understand the concerns, and again, like you said, I have to ask for permission to make it a mobile home park, and that's definitely not in our interest.
Sir, the potential buyers, are they aware of this abandonment?
Yes, yes,
They're
they're
okay?
friends. So what we did, we actually bought it because we live close by, so we're trying to build a retirement home for all of us. So I bought them all just to keep them in our name, so that all of this work can be done, and then they'll be divided up. But yes, they do know.
Okay, yeah, I was just concerned about having no access. One would-
Well, the only, okay, so on that private road easement, can you see I don't know if you're looking at a copy of it?
Yeah.
At the very
Yes,
top?
yes.
That private road easement, 24, 25, and 26 have already been granted access to their private road easement. So they have access from that side. And of course, 19, 20, 21 still have access from Hazard's side.
Does that, fire department or police department have any concern about this? Okay.
And at this point, I was asking for this initial part, but we haven't applied for permits yet because I was told we need to figure out the sewer situation first.
So the bid that you had in here for sewer, I think
Yeah,
it
that was
was,
from a local engineer, Schwartz, James Schwartz.
okay.
It's, I don't know if they attached it, but,
Yes, I
Yeah.
think so.
okay, I sent it in an email.
So that's something that you would be doing.
Well, I wanted to show how it can become cost prohibitive if I had to come down the alley. Because Public Works told me that if I come down the alley, I have to pay for the sewer for everybody down that road. So it would benefit everyone. And I would have to take it down that red lined area, and I would have to put a couple of manholes on there. So that's why he gave me a proposal, and it was cost prohibitive at that point. So we were looking for alternates. One of them was septic tanks, which we kind of went back and forth on whether that's allowed, and in the language it's mixed. So we skipped that one. And this is the other alternative that, again, in my opinion, kind of makes sense because it doesn't affect anyone.
You go run a sewer down your alley and then through the rest of the alley that's public?
What we would do is, we would run sewer from 24 to 19, sewer from 25 to 20 to Hazlet, and sewer from 26 to 21 to Hazlet. So again, it would probably be on the edges, it would probably be on the edges of the properties.
It's on your side, so you're gonna have to go across the road to go get the sewer.
I don't know who you are. I don't know.
I'm just a neighbor across the road. I worked for the city for 18 years.
Yeah, but if you want to speak, you want to come up here?
I'm, James Hell, I'm across the street of Hazlet. I own a couple lots there. And sewer is on my side of the street. And it's feasible. It comes from Mobile Village all the way down to Commercial Street. It's a pretty big main. The water main's only a 3-inch AC line. So I mean, there's no fire protection down there except you have to go from Commercial Street. So I mean, he would have to get, to me, fire protection down there to help be feasible. Then we're in a floodplain, so I mean, he could actually restrict it and flood us if he builds up his land and everything. So I mean, there's a lot of interest there.
Yeah, I definitely would follow all zoning and permits and make sure that if we hire an engineer to do all that for us, because I don't think you guys would approve it.
Not to mention the road, commercial floods, and so is that back gravel road.
But San Francisco Street, the private road, but there's no sewer down there except individual services. 3 of them. There is no sewer or anything goes down there except private. So if he's gonna have to do that, sewer's gonna be a long distance. It's from San Francisco Street. That's come from Commercial. But he could come from Hazlet, but you're gonna cut the street, be the only way, and you have to drop in manholes in that little area.
Yeah, from what I understand from Jeff, across from 19, right between 19 and 14, which
Yeah,
I
there's a
believe is
manhole.
yours, there's a manhole right there. And then he said there's another manhole coming down Hazlet. I haven't seen it, but,
And it's on my lot.
okay, yeah, it didn't seem like a concern because the manhole was on the street.
So, the water source too, you know, that's Hazlett, like I said, only has 3 inches. The alley doesn't have no water, and San Francisco Street doesn't have no water except the private lines they have. So, and it's a dead-end main, so I mean,
Yeah, you know more than I do about the sewer part of it, but this is why I asked the city for guidance and for, would this work? And I didn't get any objections. They all said, yeah, it would work.
So there is access, you're saying, to lots 24, 25, and 26?
What kind of access? What is it? What are you asking?
No, because you said earlier there's access to those properties right there.
You're talking about like vehicular access?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, there is. Yeah, it's recorded already in the county. So that 24, 25, and 26 have access to that private easement. 26 is actually split, like half of it's public road and half of it's public easement. But 24, 25, actually all of them have access to the private easement.
Yeah, you can get to all of them, maybe going down that Hazlett or that street right there.
Yeah.
Are there any drainage ditches out there anywhere?
they're poor. Young Street has a drainage.
You have to come up, sir.
Let me get back up here.
Yeah.
That way everybody can hear in the mic and.
Young has a drainage, but it's poor. It comes from McCampbell Street and comes all the way down Young Street, but never been developed to the corner there. We got another one right there by the flea market is, on Commercial, and it ain't that good either. So basically, when we have a flood, it actually comes from Young Street, all the alleys, the private properties out there, it comes across. I seen it with 1 to 2 foot surge come through there down Commercial Street, across 361.
I've got a house right behind you.
Roland.
Sir. So I mean,
You need to come up here too.
The drainage is bad over there.
Yeah, no, but you need to get up and talk up here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's just like everybody else, bro. He's just like everybody else. I know you got a loud voice, but it's all right.
Because I got a house on Gal Street, which is behind him. The trailer park, in the past, they put all the drainage, they had it, it's underground. It runs from Gal.
Yep.
Well, it's already caved in. So when the trailer park starts filling up with water, it comes running down right there next to Mary
Hazen
Jane,
Street.
under my house that I have there, keeps going out, and it just keeps going. Because the drainage right there, if you go down and look it down, I already reported this to Sid, told me he could look at it, because it done collapsed. It builds a pond, it comes out there, and that's the same way the drainage is poorly over there right now. I tell you right now, it's poor.
That's my number one concern is drainage, because I know how it gets
Any
down
boy
there.
dig ditches out,
Yeah.
and that metal pipe, that tubing that's under there, it's already collapsed.
Would the concern be to build anything there? Because
No, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all for development, put as many houses as you can here, but it needs to be
Okay.
done responsibly.
of course,
To
absolutely.
where you
And
don't
I
throw a
agree
house,
with
you
that.
don't put the cart before the horse, you know what I mean?
Sure.
You get all your ducks in a row, then you throw the house down there. Because I've talked to a lot of people that live out there, and I've lived here my whole life, and whenever it rains out there, I wouldn't even call it flooding. It's about like the Rio Grande running 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Absolutely.
so, but basically, in my opinion, if you close the right of way or the alley, you know, if he builds up the property, build houses, you know, that's gonna affect the neighbors, it's gonna flood us even more.
So you really want, if we decide to spend the ungodly number to go on the sewer, you still have a problem with permits, like you don't want houses there anymore.
No, I like houses, I'm talking about the drainage, I don't wanna be flooded.
But the
Should you
abandoning the alley, that's not gonna change the flooding.
No, I'm talking about the building.
That's what
You're
I'm
gonna
saying.
bring dirt in, you're gonna,
Yeah.
any house is gonna have,
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, these houses, Osei, or is this area a flood zone, national flood zone, that the homes have to be built up anyway? Well, if they have to be built up on stilts,
Yeah, every flood zone area has to meet
Right.
flood zone
they have
requirements,
to
so
be,
that
so you're
shouldn't
planning
be,
on
yeah.
stilt homes?
Yeah, he'll be required to meet it's called elevation certificate. He will have to meet those minimum requirements.
Minimum requirements,
Yeah.
I think it's 3 feet up. Okay.
And I'm actually following you, Mr. Knight, you're, like what you said, it's one step at a time. I haven't gone that far yet, really.
No.
I was just figuring out, is this gonna work? And then, okay, what are the next steps? And kind of go from there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just helping explain it to where
course.
everybody else understands
After
it.
Harvey, we had Hurricane Harvey, we had
Yes.
such a great amount of our properties are now in national flood zone areas. So
For
to
sure.
build, you have to build them.
Absolutely,
Have to build
Candy,
up.
we're definitely okay with that. And the last thing I wanted to add was that if you look at some pictures pre-Harvey, this was owned by a gentleman named Mr. Chappell, and it was
Chappell,
6 foot high for 20 years, I mean,
Mhm.
forever.
Mhm.
We bought it, we cleaned it up. As a matter of fact, first month, we got fined $1,200 for not cutting it the next 3 weeks. So we've been maintaining it ever since, and we've been trying to keep it up with, again, plans to build homes versus just letting it grow native and not doing anything with it. So that's really that's all we're trying to do.
Well, it is a slough area, it is a very low area, and the natural plain for all water that comes is gonna come, towards the intercoastal. It wants to go to the water if it rains, so anybody who has property there knows that it's gonna be very difficult to stop the natural flow of water. That's just what it was intended to do.
Any other questions? Okay, then I declare this public hearing closed, and now we're gonna go to consider and act an ordinance abandoning a 0.174 acres dedicated public right-of-way at the request of Stephen Perez, measuring 20 feet in width and 380 feet in length, located between lots 19, 20, and 21, and lots 24, 25, and 26 of Compound Addition 3 in Aransas County, Texas, and depicted in plat of said closure, Exhibit A, attachment hereto, and providing for revision of said abandonment area in the abutting properties. Favor of the council?
Can we table this just to a little bit more consideration?
Further study on that.
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna ask too.
I need to drive
we
out
do
there
that?
and look at it and
Can I provide anything, like, in the meantime, I'm definitely okay with tabling it, I think that's a good idea. I just had a gentleman ask me if stilts is out of the question, I said, absolutely not. And he said, you might appease some of the neighbors with knowing that it's on stilt, and then
Right.
maybe a big old slab, so. it's
well, I think
definitely-
you have to. I think it
That's what
has
it
to
sounds
be,
like.
it has to be built up.
The application before you today is the alley closure.
Right.
The development of the land is not on the table. The issue with the drainage system will have to be looked at the development stage. And when it comes to flooding and all of that, the engineer for the project will have to come up with drainage plans and elevation certificates and all of that. That will have to be taken care of. To say that there will not be any flooding, that is a natural issue. But as to development, the city will make sure the impact of the development will not create an adverse effect on the neighborhood or what is already existing, if not even to correct it. Because every development that comes in helps control or improve drainage systems. So what's before you today has to do with the alley closure and not development. Thank you.
Okay, that does make sense.
Mhm.
Well, what do y'all want to do? Do you want,
I make a motion that we approve the, ordinance abandoning 0.174 acre dedicated public right-of-way at the request of Stephen Perez, measuring 200 feet in width and 380 feet in length, located between lots 19, 20, and 21, and lots 24, 25, and 26 of Con Brown Addition 3 in Aransas County, Texas.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have to vote no because I would like to have seen a little more information on this at this time.
Yeah, let me look further.
Okay. Cool.
It's no.
No. Mine
no.
was, it was 2 and 2.
I would have to say no for right now.
Okay. Good. All right. And that's good. We need to look into it a little bit more.
This is just the alleyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want this to come back to you then? Is that, once more information is? Yeah, go ahead.
So this time around, we have not come up with any issues with the alley closure. Is it a concentration of information about drainage that we have to look at for them to come back again, or?
I have no idea. I was for it.
I think more information, period, even like the gas line deal. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that's something I never thought of, but maybe that'd be something that we could look into
Uh-huh.
instead of taking it by some.
Because
Provide
right,
them-
right now,
provide-
you actually, okay, I don't know, like, in other words, I know that he's gonna build homes out there,
Uh-huh.
but, the alley that's gonna be between both sides of the houses,
Uh-huh.
I can't I mean, he's cutting it off for the access to the back of the houses on both sides.
Right.
And I don't see a reason for that.
Oh.
Like, in other words, are you gonna utilize that land for,
That's why-
for more houses?
I feel like I didn't explain myself well. The reason I'm cutting it off is to go up and down versus sideways. And the reason is because it's about $80,000 difference to come up and down, to come from Francisco to Hazlitt versus down the alleyway. Again, either way, we have 6 lots. I believe if we're to come this way, we could get permits and start building homes. But my request is so that I can come up and down, so that it's a little more cost effective. 'cause
What do you
this
mean,
way's cost
what do you
effective.
mean up and come up and down? What do you mean?
That's the part
It's
that
easier
I'm
to show
saying.
you on the map.
Can you bring the map back?
Up and down means between 24 to 19.
So you want to,
I want to bring my sewer and my water.
okay,
from
that's
20
what you mean by come down.
And I'm
Sewer
sorry I
and
didn't
water.
explain it better.
It's cheaper going.
So from 24 to 19, 25 to 20, 26 to 21, versus all the way down the middle, the right of way.
Yeah, when I first started, he had approached me to see what the plan was, and we had recommended to go down the alley from there down to McCampbell. So now his second option is to close this right away, so he won't have to come all the way down. He just basically goes from 24 to Hazlitt versus from 24 to McCampbell, and that's the reason he's making the request.
And it doesn't, it dead ends there.
It's cheaper from the sewer.
So the fences will just butt up to, they'll just share a fence
Correct,
line.
correct.
Yeah.
And they do share coming this way. If you don't know the area, there's another street called Guile. I think it backs up to Hazlitt. They share, like they just share
There's no alley at
fences. It's just not
Correct.
abandoned formally.
I mean,
No alley at all.
we voted. I didn't have a problem with it, so.
Like,
Yeah.
So whatever.
So,
We'll try it again later.
So next time, what does he come back with? Nothing's gonna
So,
change.
That's the question. The vote has
We
been
can
taken.
wait, but this plan's still there, so nothing's gonna change, so.
So,
that he spoke with
I
it.
can probably get you something.
I'd say,
That's a concern.
because this is a real touchy subject with me, new developments coming. 'Cause like I said, I'm all for them, but it's like a broken record around town. I'm hearing people saying, well, my house is gonna get flooded, my neighbor's gonna get flooded.
Understand.
And like you said, bring in some kind of drawing that shows where the roads are, have your deal with gas lines, have everything you can. It's like trying to
Bit
sell
more of a plan versus
running shoes
just,
to a
I'm gonna
one-legged
close
man.
this
I
and I'm
mean,
gonna
just
do
have
that.
everything lined up.
This is, I prefer to see a set of plans for them to come up, and I understand, I know what you're gonna say, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is, right now, we're at the starting stages, right? Yes. But at this starting stages, I would like to see, I know he's just putting up there, but we really not seeing like an actual plan.
Okay.
What he's actually gonna do. So where we have this line going through here, this gas line going through there, it'd be a lot easier to see that picture versus just close it and then we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Yep.
So what the mayor is requesting is show the easement lines.
Okay.
Because even if the alley is not closed, you can still develop, but it will have to do with the lines and
course.
have to cross over. And so if it's off, then it becomes an easement that you can cross.
Well,
So-
I can do that.
Yeah.
My
It should-
hesitancy to
And
do
I
that
am all
is-
for, and I am all for.
Yeah.
No, I can do it.
for,
My hesitancy was because it's a lot of expense to
Yeah.
later on say, okay, I just hired architects, we did all this, and then, okay, no, we still want to do it. So I was trying to do one step first, but I can do that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that way we get like I said, a gooder picture of what we're looking at.
That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go to city manager, which is consider and act on amending the facility license agreement between the city and Roland Peña for the use of the softball complex approved on February 20th, 2023.
Mr. Mayor and Council, Mr. Pena's here, and you approved an agreement a meeting or two ago dealing with the softball field. Mr. Pena's been working with the city for many years on this issue, and there was some issue as far as getting a copy of the agreement to Mr. Pena, and he finally got to it, and he raised 3 different issues. Those issues are before you, and they're up on the screen also, but wanted Mr. Pena to be here to explain each one. Mr. Pena, it's yours.
Good afternoon, the mayor, city council. The amendment I want to do is I got 2 men playing right now on Mondays and Wednesdays. I'm trying to promote back the co-ed. And I'm trying, it's like I said, I used to have 3, the men's and then the co-ed, but right now the co-ed kind of flaked out. So we had Mondays and Wednesdays. I want to make it Tuesdays and then Thursday makeups. Because like I said, I already got like 3 teams that already called me and they want to play co-ed. So I got to put a day in there somewhere. And then as far as the concession stand, I got a ice box up there and a freezer. Okay. In the contract, it says I got to take and remove. And I'm going for the 3-year contract, and I don't have a lot of time as I used to before. I don't have the help as I did before. I'm pretty much in and out because I've worked so much now. I get for having a business, but anyway, it is what it is. But I have to hire people now, and I got to pay them. And hourly wage is not, it ain't like no $7 an hour no more. You can't even get people to work for 15 no more. So by the time I finish paying them stuff, I want to make sure I have reserve. And the reason I'm bringing this issue up is because I want to be able to funnel. There's 2 reasons for this funneling. I've been having problems. I've addressed it to one of the city council or 2 of the city council members that sometimes I have people out there that have a tendency to bring ice chests out there. I'm not there to control it. We have a blind spot on this side over here. I want to funnel it. That's one issue. That way we can eyeball it better. And the second issue is I want to be able to lower the entry fee money from $325 maybe down to $200 to try to promote more people coming in. And if we get in a slow month like this year's first year we've gone year round. Kiewit guys back there's a lot of workers. I got 3 teams from Kiewit that play on Wednesdays and they want to play. They always ask me to go turn the lights on. They want to play. I don't know. They just love ball, I guess. But anyway, I want to be able to have like a weekend or something also added to that, a weekend and the Tuesdays. 1 weekend a month that I can have, if they want to go out there and practice, or they want to have a tournament or something. There's going to be a big Kiewit. They want me to host it this month coming up. There's 16 teams. I'm going to try to promote some of them teams there by lowering the entry fee money, and I could charge a gate fee. Instead of charging so much, I could charge a gate fee and collect the difference off the gate fee. Plus, I kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I can pretty much funnel it, keep an eye on the ice chest, and keep, if there's any drinking going on, I can funnel that down, and keep from any fights or anything that presents at that time when I'm not there. Because there's only, like I said, I got 2 people. The umpires are in charge of the fields. I'm not there because I've been working a lot, and I just want to make sure. And I already talked to the city council and I talked to the city manager that I was willing to pay the fence and the gates, make it as pretty as it can with a chain link fence, and it will be up and open to the public. And like I say, it won't be like $1 or $2 a person, and that'll eliminate some of the costs. That was one of the that was on the amendment. that's pretty much it. Y'all have any questions or anything, or? I'm just trying to keep, I want to make sure I can cover the cost by signing 3 years. If we don't play in, like next year, this year is the first year, like I said, we've had year round. I want to make sure that I have other means of, you know, paying the people that work out there. It's not my wife and I out there no more, so I'm having to pay, so. And, the grass cutting and stuff like that, I gotta maintain the inside, and like I say, I pay them $15 an hour. I pay $17 an hour to cut the grass. So, and I furnish the lawnmower and stuff, that's just the labor I cost. So, you know, I cut it every 2 weeks. If it needs cut in the summertime, we have a lot of rain, I cut it once a week. So I'm just trying to prepare myself to have other options besides just entry fee money, you know what I'm saying, just in case. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it, but I want an option somewhere in case I don't wanna be it coming out of my pocket. I wanna make sure the park takes care of itself and pays itself.
So you're charging an entry fee for every game?
Every game, yeah, every time that we play, yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, there's a reason for that too. I want to come down because I know this sounds kind of odd, but I was a manager at a men's league for a long time, and man, some of them guys, man, they don't want to pay. They come out there and play, but the guys are like, they don't want to pay. So what happens is the manager gets stuck with the rest of the bill, because I was at one of that time. I was one of them. So I want to try. I've already talked to the managers, and they said that was good with them. They didn't have a problem. That kind of helps them, and I think that would promote more teams coming out, having to pay less money with less responsibility on a manager. If y'all can understand. If y'all played ball before, y'all know what I'm talking about. They can't. They say $20 pitch in. They don't always work out that way. The manager has got to eat it up, and it takes out of his family at the end of the season. Any questions?
So you were saying that you were going to put up a fence for people to
Yeah, just to
entry?
be able to funnel it, because on this right side over here, we can't see nothing. And then they sitting back of their truck, and sometimes I've seen them out there drinking and stuff, you know? I just want to be able to funnel them in this way that I know what they're carrying in, what's going on. Because honestly, I don't make no money concession stand. And I got to be able to pay these people that are working there. So it's me and co-ed, we make money to pay the difference, but right now we don't have co-ed, it's just men's. And they don't buy nothing.
They don't buy nothing.
They don't buy nothing.
They bring it all in.
So,
Bring it all in.
They bring it all in, that's why he wants to put them through right there so he can keep an eye on all of
yes,
them right there.
I want to be able to funnel them in
No
because,
snacks.
but y'all don't have access to the key. If it close the gates and stuff, once it's done, it'll open back up. You know, right there, if you know where the pool's at, before you get to them trees that die, there's like a little, I don't know what you call that, but there's a place that I can put a fence that come on the edge. That'll keep them from, bringing stuff in on that side. They can funnel around this way, so.
Okay.
That's the reason for that, because I'm not there to monitor it, and it's very hard to have two people, and they're running a concession stand, and then to try to keep an eye on that one side over here on the right side.
I have a question. Is that going to be, because it is city-owned property, is there going to be an issue with him charging, being a private group charging on city's property?
Shouldn't be unless, Roxanne, unless you see something with that, but it's being charged for an event, and it's not unusual for cities to charge for events. So it shouldn't be.
I just want to make sure,
No, good question.
because people might say that, hey, this is owned by the city, why is Mr. Benia
Well,
charging us?
years ago, Raul used to have that. I don't know if you know Raul Dominguez. He used to have the park. He owed y'all like $7,000, $8,000, $10,000. He didn't pay y'all. Well, he was doing that. He sold alcohol there. I don't do that. I don't want no responsibility of no liquor, alcohol, nothing like that. They had beer back then. He was selling beer. I don't want no part of that because that's a liability for me.
Yes, it is.
But I want to be able to monitor it. And I don't, because you got to realize too, is in any event, if the people are sitting there drinking and they have an ice shit, they just keep drinking and drinking, and if y'all people, guys or women, have played a co-ed or men's before, and it happens. And we've been very fortunate not to have any problems out there, because I was over out there, we maintain everything pretty much. I run them off. I don't have any problem running people off. I mean, they're not going to abide by the laws and stuff like that. Honestly, I had a guy out there smoking weed. He's banned. That's how strict I am. I don't, it's against city ordinance, it's against the law, they're gone. He's banned it. He was warned, and he came back and did it. He's crying, calling on the phone. When can I, sorry, can't do it.
And I'm just asking, you see an issue on being city-owned property?
I see various issues that I think need to be addressed. That's certainly one of them. The other one, though, is I'm a little bit confused. I see that there's a page in here that has been signed off by you, Mr. Pena, that says facility lease agreement changes. and I wanna make sure I understand what the changes are, because I heard you mention some things tonight that are
The-
not
the
in the
ma-
contract and are not in the amendment changes that you requested.
Yeah, that was just something I talked to the mayor and I talked to the city manager about the fencing and stuff. That
I
was-
heard
that
you
was one of-
mention the fencing, and the other thing I heard you mention was wanting an extra weekend a month.
No, an extra day Tuesday, because I got a co-ed. See, I got right now I got Mondays and Wednesdays men's.
I thought
I
I
gotta
also
sti-
heard I heard you say that.
Yes.
But I thought I
It used to be
also
my
heard you
makeup
say
day
an extra
Tuesday.
weekend.
I'm trying to push to try to get co-ed to come back out there again. And then, like I say, Saturday, I at least want one weekend a month, one Saturday on a month that, like I say, like
So you
Keywood 30.
do want a weekend a month,
Just one.
okay.
One Saturday, because like right now I got Keywood, they want to come out there and have a family event, and they want me to host it.
Okay, I thought you just told me you did.
There's not any
so
charge
I
for it
need to make sure I
either.
understand.
I'm just telling you, that sometimes, like right now, I have a little kids select team, they're out there, they want to practice. And I send my guy out there, he'll turn the lights on for them, they'll practice, they'll start at daylight, and they'll stay an hour late, and, you know, anything, I'm sure y'all for that too, to help the kids, they want
Yeah.
to participate, it's a select team from Aransas Pass. I was there, and, you know, I see, and it helps the kids when they get to high school and stuff. Ingleside's doing real well right now, because they had a lot of that too. James Hayward had his daughter, and some other people got involved in that, and they got girls from Aransas, actually, they look better, you know what I'm saying? They play year round. So we have a team now that's coming up from Aransas, select team, also another one. I think it's Kenny Jones, he's worked for the city too. He's asked me to come out there and see if he can, I said, I'm all for it. Any way I can help him out, I'm out there, and I'll have my guy help him whatever way. So that's another reason too, that I want to have the access to be able to help them out if I can.
One weekend a month is what you're saying?
Yeah, on Saturday.
One weekend a month?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Saturday, right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
where they get, I think they.
Yeah,
people they can guys-
one a
on
month.
Saturday.
That way I don't have to come back and ask y'all, hey, can we do this? Or, you know what I'm saying? That way pretty much, you know, if anything comes up, it'll be something minor.
Oh, I'm good with it.
Okay, so let me, on the days, you wanna be able to play games
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
with makeup games on Thursday,
Yes, ma'am.
and you want one Saturday a month,
Yes, ma'am.
and that's at your discretion?
Yes, unless if somebody else has something else to do, they can come, I'll work with however they want me to work with them too. I don't have any problems with that.
Okay, you also are saying that you wanna build a fence on the property, right?
That was something that we were gonna discuss, and I was telling them why I wanted to do it. Yes, that's something I wanted to do.
Okay, there's nothing in the contract that talks about building the fence and that becoming public property.
Excuse me? I didn't understand.
So if you build the fence, it becomes public.
Yeah, no, it's y'all's. I mean, y'all, yeah. I'm
But he
gonna,
paid
don't,
for it.
Right,
yeah, I
right.
got a fencing business. It's not gonna be a problem.
You just donate the fence to the city.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to go through the contract to make sure if we've given you the authority to actually build on the property. We may need to add a provision in there that allows you to build that fence.
Okay, that's fine.
And I would assume that the cost incurred and charged are equal?
Okay.
So it's not a for-profit business that he's using public property for?
I don't think he makes any money off of it.
Yeah,
No.
okay.
Any other questions?
I make a motion to amend the facility license agreement between the city and Roland Pena for use of the softball complex approved on February 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Good?
Thank you. Good.
Good, man.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go to Development Services, which is consider an act on ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 5, Building and Construction, Article 1, and General Section 5-2, Amendments to and modifications of building codes, building permit fee schedule, set amendments to simplify and clarify the registration and permit fees for residential and commercial structures, providing a penalty for violation, providing a savings and severability clause, providing for publication in the official newspaper, and providing an effective date.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Just a quick summary on this topic at hand. The building department is trying to implement changes to the fee schedule that would make it more user-friendly, easier to read, and overall more transparent to the public. With that being said, a whole overhaul to the current building ordinance general section was necessary to achieve this goal. With your approval, this will make the building department run more efficiently and help residents when it comes to building permits, knowing what they're going to pay before coming into the department.
Hector Rios, 1044 South Commercial. I'm in total agreement with that. The said amendments to simplify and clarify registration and permit fees for residential commercial structures. I'm trying to build 2 cottages on my property that I have acquired, and I was trying to fill out some of that paperwork, and it was kind of crazy. And then I actually took a picture of it and sent it to my engineer. I think I scared him off. He hasn't returned any phone calls or anything like that. So anything to simplify that would be a great help, you know, just to promote more business and to advance Aransas Pass. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I personally don't mind simplifying it, but in the same term, I don't want to make it a burden to the people coming in and pulling a permit, because right off the bat, I think it comes out to like over $1 or something square foot per permit, which is, to me, that's pretty expensive for somebody that's going to come in and build a house for 1,000 square foot. You're already talking about $1,200 permit, or somewhere close to that, and then another $40 for inspections on top of that. I mean, I don't mind simplifying it, but also I don't want to make it a burden for the people that are coming over here. And I would kind of like to see a comparison between us, Ingleside, Portland, Port Aransas, and the surrounding areas as far as the total cost of an actual permit from start to finish.
On that note, Mayor, this first started going through Safe Build. They did our research for us. They went through Rockport, Port Aransas, Ingleside, Corpus, Portland, and they even got random cities with equal population to us and checked their building schedule. We put them together for the per square footage for commercial. It's 65 per square foot. When I compared this new fee schedule to the old fee schedule, it was maybe, I want to say, $80 off.
And then that 65 cents, and then on top of the 65 cents, then whatever the contractor is going to pull the electric permit is going to pay an additional cost for that permit also, right?
Well,
Or is it all
each
included?
permit
So what I read
each permit is a different
Is
cost,
a different
which
cost.
we do currently.
But that's what I'm asking.
we already
Like, in
did.
other words, is it the same? Like in every town around here that you're actually going to pay, you're pretty close between the 10 cents, the 45 cents, the 65 cents, and the other kind of cents, and all kinds of cents?
Yes, Mayor. It's basically the same as surrounding areas. I want to say we're most related with this new fee schedule to Rockport. I want to say commercial is with Rockport. With ours, I tried to make residential as close as possible to the current fee schedule because I didn't want it to raise up on our customers, and of course, we don't want it to get lower. We want it to stay the same, but make it a lot more easier for the public to figure out what exactly they're looking for.
So the actual fees that we see here in red now are the same that what we've always had, you just put it in a neater format?
Exactly.
Okay.
I want to say it's only off, like I said, with the building permit, it's only off maybe $80. With the trade permits, it's only off about $60. So it's not a major change.
Well, you
But
made it.
When you're saying that, is it in favor of the guy pulling the permit, or is it in favor of the city?
In favor of the guide pulling permit.
So in other words, you've lowered the cost to the contractor coming in. Is what you've
Exactly.
done. Okay, that was your question right there. Because you didn't want it to go, yeah.
See, but no, because the fact of the matter is, whether you're doing it to the contractor or not, you're still charging it to the actual person that's actually getting the job done for it.
That's the contractor, he's still gonna charge him
He-
that
he's
plus
still gonna funnel that
$65 for
payment all the
it.
way.
In the end, we don't want to hinder building. We want this city to develop, and this was the perfect way to help that.
Because we definitely do not want to create obstacles for somebody to come and build something in Aransas and say, you know what, I'd rather go to Ingleside because they're a lot friendlier with permits and a lot easier and a
Exactly.
lot less on this and whatnot.
Exactly. And like Hector said, whenever you go onto the Muni Code at the moment and look at the building section, it's crazy. It's a monster. It's hard to
I'm not gonna
read.
disagree.
You don't know what you're looking at.
Right.
It's a little different.
And it is very outdated, and it needed a facelift.
I just,
Mhm.
okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
You got any other questions?
Thanks,
sir?
Joseph. No,
Joe?
no. I'm trying to find
Favor of the
it.
council?
Make a motion to, where are we? Amend
9.1.
9.1. Make an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 5, Buildings and Construction, Article 1, and General Sections 5.2, Amendments 2, and modification of Building Code, Building Permit Fee Schedules, said amendments to simplify and clarify the registration and permit fees for residential and commercial structures, providing a penalty for a violation, providing a savings and severability clause, providing for publication in the new official newspaper, and providing an effective date.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, now we're gonna go to consider an act on approving change orders, like 100 of them.
Yeah.
Change order number 1 to the contract with J.J. Fox Construction for the American Rescue Plan, ARP package number 2, in the amount of $5,750.
So these change orders show that we have a lot of activity here in Aransas Pass. So that's a good thing when we think about it. So on this one, this is an ARP project. This is the one that on the update they send down McClung from the alley between 11th and 12th down to Avenue A. J.G. Fox Construction is installing a silver line down that right down the middle of the road. They run into a water line that goes across the road, and it's a concrete pipe. Okay. The problem that we're going to run into is that we're going to pave the road in-house. Well, Councilmember Bettego, remember what you were saying about there's a lot of vibration during road projects? Well, if we didn't change that out, there's a good chance that we would have started compacting the base or compacting the asphalt, the vibration could have broken that concrete pipe. So we went ahead and asked the contractor if we can just cut 40 feet of it and replace it with PVC, so whenever we go pave it, we could sleep at night not knowing that we're not going to end up breaking that line. So that's what this change order is for. It's a total of $5,750, and that'll be funded through the ARP.
See, that's not really a bad change order because you're actually, that was not like we changed it because we messed it up.
Yeah.
Right.
No, we're
Yeah.
changing it for our
Making
benefit,
it
yes.
better.
Yes.
Right.
Make it better.
And that's
Yeah.
actually not a bad price either. Per linear foot, we were able to keep it pretty tight in that. So.
I make a motion to approve change order number 1 to the contract with J.J. Fox Construction for the American Rescue Plan, package number 2, in the amount of $5,750.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Consider an act on approving change order number 1 to the contract with Bridges Specialties Incorporated for the Compound Harbor Water Wastewater Line Boring Project in the amount of $23,000 for an additional 60 calendar days.
So this is probably the most famous project at the moment right now. I think we've gotten a lot of positive feedback. This is the one where we had the existing water and wastewater lines going over the Brown Harbor that have been removed and now bored underneath the channel. What we ran into is that when we're actually in the design phase, the city actually said, hey, the connection should be right here based on history. So when we bored and we excavated, it was not there. It was actually 350 feet that way towards Super S. Is it not Super S?
No,
Motel
it's
Super
Valero.
8. Super 8.
Super 8.
So
Super 8. Oh,
and
it's the
and
motel.
also in the On the barnyard, it was 150 feet more that way. So if we would have caught it early and said, hey, the connection is 350 feet that way, 150, it still would have circled around to this amount. So this change order was basically inevitable. Either it would have been now or would have done it in the base bid and still paid the same amount. The good thing, we're still about $50,000+ under budget, even with this change order. And I've gotten emails sent personally to me from residents on Bay Harbor saying their water volume has increased, thanking me. So we've gotten a lot of positive feedback. So even with this change order, still being under budget and having happy customers, I would recommend that we approve the $23,000. And the extra 60 days is actually waiting on material and also when we had to redesign the project.
I move to approve change order number 1 to the contract with Bridges Specialties, Inc. for the Combine Harbor Water Wastewater Line Boring Project in the amount of $23,000 and for an additional 60 calendar days.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And now we go to consider an act and approve and change order number 1 to the contract with Guerra Underground LLC for the Colonia Fund wastewater line replacement, Sherwood Forest, for an additional 146 days.
This is probably our next famous project. This is a Sherwood project. So I know Sherwood had been, we had designed to do some sewer infrastructure on the Sherwood Forest, Oak Lane, Gina Lane, Benoit, and Dinapat. There's already water out there, so they already have water infrastructure, but now we're installing the sewer infrastructure. And this project, Public Works is going to do the shallower sewer ourselves, but the lowest bid was get an underground to do the deeper ones, and these deep ones are about 12 feet deep. The issues they've been running into is that going that deep, they're literally hitting quicksand. So the groundwater is hard to manage. They're hitting quicksand. They're doing everything they can for safety, but they're actually having to add more extra material in there to stabilize that the base of the pipe. So they're falling very behind schedule. They're not asking for more money. They're asking for more time. They're asking for a substantial amount. They're asking for 146 more calendar days. We've been out there multiple times to look at the situation. It does look pretty bad. They have it under control. They're still having progress. They're just not moving as fast as that the engineers had originally designed the project for. We do have some representatives here if you guys have any questions for them, but other than that, my recommendation is to give them the 146 days to make sure they get the product that Sherwood Forest deserves.
Okay. I make a motion to approve change order number 1 to the contract with Guerra Underground LLC for the Colonia Fund wastewater line replacement at Sherwood Forest for an additional 146 days.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Now is consider an act on approving change order number 2 to the contract with Southern Trenchless Solution LLC for the city lift station improvements project for an additional 264 calendar days.
Okay, so this project is for our backup pumps at the lift station. So during Hurricane Harvey, when we had power outages, all our lift stations operate with electricity, so we weren't able to pump to the wastewater treatment plant. Well, the wastewater treatment plant has a backup generator, so that was operating, but we weren't able to feed the plant with the sewage that was throughout town. So we replaced them. FEMA actually funded to allow us to put some diesel-driven pumps in there. So when the power goes out, we just crank them up, let them run diesel. On Bay Tree, that one's a special one. So that one actually is going to have an enclosure. Is a different pump, a special pump. So right now they're still waiting for that pump and the housing to be delivered. They're anticipating for it to come sometime in July. So they're asking till the end of the July to finish the project. The other lift stations have been complete. We've already done inspections on them. We've done the walkthroughs with them. They've already fixed some little issues. So all the other lift stations are ready to go, except this one because we're still waiting for the material to be delivered. So that's why it's so many days, 264 days. But again, this one's at no cost. They're just asking because they're still playing the waiting game on the delivery. And they actually showed a lot of progress in the very beginning with the other lift stations. They hit the ground running, and they covered a lot of ground. They just had this hiccup with the delivery on this one.
Yeah, because I know that there's a lot of issues with getting parts.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I make a motion to approve change order number 2 to the contract with Southern Trenchless Solution, LLC, for the city lift station improvement projects for an additional 264 calendar days.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Consider enacting approving change order number 3 to the contract with Max Underground Construction LLC for the 13th Street, Wilson Avenue, and West Nelson drainage improvement in the amount of $2,902 and for an additional 70-day calendar days.
So at the intersection of West Wilson and Palm, there's 2 drain boxes that were there that were not actually planned to be worked on. Well, the vibration actually made the grates collapse, and they weren't actually repairable. They couldn't just put them back on. So we recommended a change order, which is $2,900, because they had some extra lids left over from the project that they ripped it out and rebuilt the lid completely to make sure it was traffic safe. These drain boxes are actually on the road, so people were actually driving it on their vehicles. So they did install the new tops, and they passed. So that's the $2,900. So for 2 drain tops is just $2,900. On the 70 days, they did come before, and there was a little confusion on what they were trying to justify. They were asking for additional 35 days. I was recommending 30, so they thought it was just a 5-day difference, but no, it was actually a 35-day difference. They did come back to show me some more additional rain days. There was about a week of delay because they were going to start in the beginning of school, and it came from the city. Well, actually, it came from the school, and then from the city to them. Hey, time out. Can you postpone this for another 2 weeks, so that way the school can get used to their routes and people dropping off their kids. So they had delay on that. I know they had some other delays too, but we do have a representative here if you have any questions. But my recommendation is to approve the $2,900 and the 70 days. This will finish the contract. I think the contract ends in 2 days. So if it gets approved tonight, basically they're done with the project. We've already did the walkthrough with them, and they've already finished their punch list.
Okay. Well, I make a motion that we approve change order number 3 to the contract with Max Underground Construction, LLC, for the 13th Street, Wilson Avenue, and West Nelson drainage improvements in the amount of $2,902 and for an additional 70 calendar days.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And then we go to consider an act and approve change order number 3 to the contract with RNS Parker Construction LLC for the CDBG Hurricane Harvey Recovery Drainage Improvement in the amount of $16,299.50 and for 45 additional calendar days.
So this was in the north of McCampbell in the Stapp area. When we were hearing the conversation about the Hazlet, I was kind of hoping that this would help benefit that area, but it's a little bit further south than them. But in this area, when they had the open ditch, when it was designed, it was too close to the fence of one of the homeowners. So the only way to keep it from eroding was to build a retaining wall. So basically, they just made that V ditch taller. So it was about 340 feet long, and the price was $16,299.50 to build that wall, and it was an additional 45 days to do that. There was really no way around it. We couldn't find any other solution to prevent the erosion and to salvage the fence except to go this route. So this is my recommendation on this one. After this one, the project should be finished as well. And the work has already been done as well. We didn't want to cause any more further erosion, so we went and just did the work. It will be funded by the CDBG grant.
I make a motion to approve change order number 3 to the contract with RS Parker Construction LLC for the CDBG Hurricane Harvey Recovery Drainage Improvements in the amount of $16,299.50 and for 45 additional calendar days.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We're gonna go to consider an act, we're gonna go to public safety, which is consider an act on acceptance of grant award number 4662301, funded through the SH Bullet Resistance Shield Grant Program from the Office of the Governor in the amount of $96,921.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the City of Aransas Pass has been selected through the SH Bullet Resistance Shield Grant Program to the Office of the Governor in the amount of, like you just stated, $96,921. This is a no cash or in-kind match, so it would be a full funded amount. The city doesn't have any tie down to this funding. The funds would be utilized for the City of Aransas Pass Police Department for 22 Level 3 Vanguard ballistic shields. And this equipment would be utilized during high-risk search warrants, serious life-threatening situations, or to manage barricade subjects.
Okay. Well, I make a motion that we accept the grant number 4662301 funded through the SH Bullet Resistant Shield Grant Program from the Office of the Governor in the amount of $96,921.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're gonna go to city council and staff announcements, which is, the ceremony for cross atop the Fisherman's Memorial Tower, which is Friday, March 10th, 2023 at 11 p.m.
AM.
11 a.m.
AM, not
No, AM.
Midnight.
As you probably noticed, the cross is now atop. They did that on Saturday. That's when the crane was available, thanks to the fire department and the fire chief did a wonderful job there. And fire department personnel went to the top and attached it. And it's built differently now so that it's more wind resistant. And this is one of the final FEMA projects. It's kind of a major step, actually, and very symbolic in many ways. Going to recognize it as one of the very few FEMA projects left. Want to do that on Friday, 11 a.m. there at the tower with the cross up. It is now up. Hope you all can make it, and hope several members of the community and staff can make it also.
Okay.
The other item I want to talk with you about is a workshop meeting March 14th. At this point, we have on the agenda the community garden, which Kaylin will be talking about. Been working with several citizens about the community garden. Also a mural in the area of the Fisherman's Memorial Tower, and Councilmember Joe Dominguez wishes to talk about that. That's pretty exciting because a lot is happening around town in that regard, more than we've even talked about as a council. I've had a TV station, at least one, contact us about the murals around town. It's pretty exciting what's happening, and I appreciate the work that Joe is doing, and others are doing also, many others. Shrimpery Parking Grounds, this also comes from Kaylin, and want to have a request from Kiewit to use the Shrimpery Parking Grounds for parking on a daily basis, except during Shrimpery. I thought that's something the council better be aware of. We want to bring it to you before any action is taken on that, so you're aware of what the request is. There's a 911 system coming from the chief as far as a discussion item, and then a moratorium following up on a request and earlier discussion, moratorium on residential homes at city entrances, so that we can do additional research. You asked us to do additional research, and to do that, to be on the safe side, we're going to ask that you consider. Of course, you can't take action in a work session unless we change it to a special meeting. It would, the official action at this point anyway, would come at a later council meeting. So those are the items. As you know, a work session is always fluid, and that could change, could add to it, could take away from it also. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Sorry? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
And also, I wanted to bring back to the workshop, because now that we're in the process of ordering those solar lights, now they're asking what color we want. So I was like, okay, I got to bring that to you guys to pick. So, okay.
I think pink's a good color.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
They're all pink, right?
Just kidding.
All pink lights?
Right. Okay.
All
You
right.
okay with pink?
Now we're gonna go to citizen comments. Citizen comments are intended for the matter that are not scheduled on the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes and state your name and address for the record. Be advised that the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the city council from responding and discussing your comments. The law authorizes the following: make a statement of factual information, recite existing policy, advise that this subject may be placed on the agenda for a subsequent meeting.
Melinda Williams. I proudly live in the city of Aransas Pass in Bay Harbor. And I have been requested by the president of our association to read a letter to you guys, and also honoring the Public Works for our new water line that David proudly executed and you guys approved. Thank you to the city of Aransas Pass City Council and the Public Works Department. Thank you all so much for securing the water supply to the Bay Harbor subdivision in Aransas Pass and doing it in a timely manner. Thanks to David Flores, who oversaw the installation of the underground water line to our homes. I am fully aware that any time you try to upgrade existing infrastructure, you run into unforeseen problems. But the Public Works Department of Aransas Pass preserved and got the job done. We thank the City Council for approving the project to start with. We thank David Flores and all of his workers who got the job done. We wanted you to know that your efforts are appreciated. Rhonda Ponich, current president of the Bay Harbor Channel Owners Association. And thank you from my heart to yours as well.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
Good job, guys.
Good job.
Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Jacob. I live in Walkport. I wanted to talk about the Folks Monday meeting. I was a little disappointed in how the council handled the follow-up case. I am iffy on this because I do not have all the information. That being said, I have this list of rules I have to follow. I was disappointed to see, I think it was Miss Carey, talk and bring religion into it. I believe in the firm separation of church and state. This is a legal issue. I'm assuming that y'all have a court date set because you keep yammering on about it. So I'm asking that y'all handle this, everyone charge of it, they're within the court, like your lawyer said. And if you do make another statement during citizen comments, I do request you be behind the microphone because it's me having someone sit behind the desk and then talk about religion being a part of the city council that struck a nerve with me. But that is my opinion. Thank y'all for your time.
Anybody else?
Hector Rios, 1044 South Commercial. I'd just like to touch on some things that me and Ms. Scruggs have talked about on Facebook. But it is about one of our tax sale lots that is way on the north side that we still have available. It'd be a perfect spot for a birding sanctuary. As y'all know, because I've told y'all several times, we've lost like 3 billion birds since 1970, so in a 50-year study. If we can find or identify some birds that are endangered or threatened, we could definitely slow down any kind of industry with that, especially if it's in a sanctuary. And if you do the numbers, we're already 10 years after, or we're already 13 years after that latest survey. So we've already lost somewhere over 1 million birds, over 500 million birds, I'm sorry. So the likelihood of us having an endangered species on this sanctuary could be very high, could be extremely high with the rate that they're disappearing. So I just wanted to bring that up to you, that I believe that we still have one tax resale property that's kind of way on north side. Also, it brings something really nice to north side. I think they only have one park and then a lot of bad streets. So I think that would be a nice improvement to get out there, and birds put beds and heads. The largest birding corridor in the entire world is right here. There's a lot of money in birds. Everybody's on their 28th, 30th, 50th annual birding festivities, and I did one last year. It was our first. So it's a market that's very untouched, and it's also something that could really, really help us with industry encroachment. And also with the sculptures that we're going to do, David, I love it. I think you're one of the best improvements that the city's had in decades. But I'm thinking maybe if y'all could cut it down to half and maybe put some of that into like maybe flowering up or seeding up the easements. Lady Bird Johnson did a wonderful job with the entire state with simply seeding our roadways. We could do that with our easements coming into town, or maybe perhaps put some new flowers at our Newberry Park with that beautiful mural. Hummingbirds will be coming down here in the next couple weeks. They're coming back from the big flight. Just like I said, when they go, they got to increase their body weight by 3 times. That would put me at like 600 pounds, okay? So they're going to come back, and they're going to be starving, basically. So if they don't have that nourishment here on the coastal towns when they first get off that Gulf, some of them are going to perish. So I think that would be a great idea to go ahead and put, and it's investing in live. The trees, the stumps, they're dead. And I appreciate everything that David's trying to do, but I think something live would be a lot better. And thank you for your time. God bless. I love each and every one of you.
Good evening, Ruth Camarillo, 1629 Windy Oaks Drive. I have a few handouts. Is it okay if I approach and hand y'all something? Okay. So my name is Ruth Camarillo. I own property on West Myrtle off of Avenue A in Aransas Pass. My husband and I purchased this property in 2020 with our thoughts of building a home out there eventually for our kids. My mom, she's retired, and we want to bring her out there as well. Our property taxes have significantly increased, more than doubled in the past couple years. Attached, you can see we have no road. We have no drainage. Our property taxes should provide funding, road maintenance, construction, repair, as well as public transport facilities. Our property taxes serve to keep the roads in a safe condition and free of debris, as well as paying for road lighting, traffic signs, traffic lights, and other safety and traffic control measures. Would you say that the pictures that you see that I have provided show a safe road, safe condition, lighting, traffic signs with safety measures? I think you would all agree that it does not. In addition, over the past 2 years, I've had to call police, me and Eric on speed dial here, to have to report trespassers. The actual area over to the left is where people try to go through our property. We put up a gate that we had to also report for vandalism because they broke through the gate. And so they can't access wherever they're going, so they break through our property. It's happened multiple times. There's known drug usage out there, and it's a fact because Patrick Heckler was caught with heroin, and he's literally like a cross. I was getting frustrated. I was calling cops constantly, like, hey guys, this is happening, and I was getting so irritated. The cops would come out there, the little short one, I don't know his name, he's a really nice guy, but he'd go, ma'am, I'm sorry, we can't go back there. We have no access. And I was getting irritated with the wrong people because, as you can tell, they can't go back there. There's no way. I think when they were cleaning up that property out there, it required 4-wheel drive because you can't access it. So I'm just here making the people that are aware of the condition that it's unsafe. I really need city's help for it. We have no road, no drainage, no utilities, no water, no sewer. Public Works is literally down the street. And they have come, I think, to clean up part of that drainage area. But they, as you can tell, how are they supposed to do that? They can't get down there. So recently, I was really frustrated on Facebook, and I was made aware by Kerry Scruggs that that road on Myrtle is in the long-term plans for the city to fix. I informed one of my neighbors, and he told me they've been saying this for 10 years. That's my time. I really just want some help with figuring out what we can do about it. And if we could add this item to an agenda for a subsequent meeting, I'd really like to hear what we can do about it. And that's all.
Just, thank you, Ruth. Just to be real clear on, I did tell you that
Mhm.
because I had seen this.
Mhm.
And when I saw Myrtle, it had to do with the, actually not on your end, I guess. It was the other end.
Yeah, it gets quite confusing.
Yeah.
But it's right off of Avenue A. And if you drive down the street, I mean, we have four-wheel drive. Obviously, we have to get to our property. But the people are just cutting across, and they're actually back there using drugs. They're
I
back,
did say.
yeah, they're back there using drugs, and I can't keep calling the cops. They keep telling me, "I'm sorry, ma'am, we can't get back there." And it's in city limits. I really need help.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Mayor
you.
and council, as you know, we have a budget meeting with council, and issues like this are discussed, and citizens come forward and make requests. And encourage you to stay in contact with it. This is a budget issue, and you need to stay in contact with us to see if we can get it in the upcoming budget. We're almost at budget right now. So no need to comment, but just want to stay in touch with us, and we will be in contact with you as far as when that budget meeting is. It's a big meeting with the council and department heads to talk about upcoming projects. So encourage you to participate in that. Some who have participated have gotten what they've asked for. That's not a promise. That's making the council aware and seeing how it fits into the budget. Again, what you're talking about is a budget issue. So appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Mayor, may I speak to? So Ruth has been a great help with us when we were doing the Hetchler cleanup. She actually allowed us to drive up on her property to make it easier for us to get out there when we did the cleanup. The other thing is Mr. Dallas out there is another neighbor, and he's recently checked in with us or complained because he's upset about the ongoing activities. We do have code enforcement working in that area, also police as best we can. We have some vehicles that can make it out there, but most, like his miscreant visitors, will have to park down the street, block their property, park on their property to make access onto his property. So one of the things that we do have is a lien on that property. Hopefully at some point or another we can foreclose on that lien as a city and acquire the property and run the problem off, because there is trash starting to pile up and everything out there again. And Ruth, you got my number. If you don't hear from us timely about the budget stuff, you know how to get a hold of me, and I'll make sure we keep you informed too. Helping us.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, we're gonna go to executive session, section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meeting Act, to meet with his attorney to seek legal advice on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the city council under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act relating to professional real estate services agreement by Linda Williams. Section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meeting Act, to meet with the attorney to seek legal advice in a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the city council under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act, and Section 551.087 deliberations regarding economic development and negotiations relating to Noasis CAD number 380310, a 28.61 acre of land on Ransom Island, Track 7, commonly known as 630 East Ransom Road, Aransas Pass, Texas, and it is 7:09.
Waiting on you.
We're gonna reconvene in open session to take action if any item discussed.
No action.
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?